Recall that composition is where you use one entire function as the input of another. The notation for this would be f of g of x, or it can be written f of g of x. We're going to do the same thing, but in word problem format. And when you see it in word problems, it's not necessarily going to give you this notation. You're going to just have to figure it out based on the context clues of the units they give you. So, first example. The temperature in degrees Fahrenheit in terms of Celsius is given by this formula here. So this whole equation is the Fahrenheit formula. This is Celsius, D. The temperature in degrees Celsius in terms of Kelvin temperature is given by this formula. So this whole equation gives you the Celsius, and Kelvin is just your input. Write a formula for F of V, the temperature in degrees Fahrenheit in terms of Kelvin. Okay, so it may sound a little confusing, but let's look at the equations they give us and the units here. So this whole equation is the Fahrenheit equation. And this little thing here, this little d, is Celsius. This whole equation is the Celsius equation, and this little input here, this V, is Kelvin. In these types of word problems, one of the inputs is going to be the same as an entire equation. So the input for this first one, D, is the Celsius units. This whole entire second equation is also the Celsius units. So that's your hint here. We're going to put this whole Celsius equation in for my Celsius units. Replace just the D, we keep the 9/5 and we keep the plus 32, and technically we need to write F of V at the beginning. Also make sure that these two letters line up. What's in the parentheses of where we're trying to get is going to also be your variable in the equation. You don't have to simplify these problems, and that's all you do. Plug one equation into the other, make sure you do the right equation into the other. Let's do one more example. The area of a circular algae colony with radius r is given by this formula here. So this is the area formula for radius. The radius after t minutes is given by this formula here. So this entire formula is the radius formula, and this is minutes. Write a formula for the area of the algae colony after t minutes. Notice the input here is radius, and this overall second equation is radius. So we are going to put this overall second equation in just for the r to get our new formula. Again, we can double check that we're on the right track. There's a t in our parentheses here, that's the input, and there's a t is our variable here on the right-hand side.